Florence, a young orphan, moves to the bustling city of Lagos to stay with her aunt, Mama Beauty. A widow with 4 grown children, Mama Beauty seems like the perfect place to find refuge and opportunity. Florence dreams of securing a well-paid job that will give her a better life and escape from the struggles she endured. But little does she know that beneath Mama Beauty's caring attitude lies a cruel, bitter heart. Mama Beauty is a natural-born witch, her jealousy as toxic as it is destructive. She doesn't need any reason to act out of spite, she simply enjoys watching others suffer, especially if they look better than her or have the potential to outshine her family. She wants nothing more than for her children to succeed while keeping everyone else under her control, including Florence. For months, Florence wanders the city's streets, desperately looking for work and facing rejection after rejection. It seems like the universe has conspired against her. But one day, after countless failed attempts, Florence is blessed with a job offer that exceeds her wildest dreams. Her salary is beyond what she ever thought she could earn. She is overjoyed and sees it as the end of her hardship. But when Mama Beauty hears about Florence's new job and the enormous salary, jealousy consumes her. This cannot be allowed. Florence's success threatens Mama Beauty's position in the world, and the very thought of Florence surpassing her children sends her into a rage. That night, as Florence gets ready to start her new job, she has a disturbing dream, a dream where Mama Beauty violently snatches the money Florence is holding, her eyes burning with anger and envy. Florence wakes up, shaken, but she prays for guidance, hoping the dream was just her imagination. However, when she starts working and receiving her salary, something strange begins to happen. Despite earning more money than she ever thought possible, Florence's finances never seem to add up. The money slips through her fingers, as though it has no power. She can't explain why she can't buy anything for herself. She remains unkempt, always looking sad, and the promise of a better life feels more like a distant dream. Desperate, Florence prays again, but things only seem to get worse. Every month, her salary is paid to her, but it feels like it's becoming more and more useless. It doesn't change her circumstances, she feels stuck, lost, and defeated. Florence had always been entrepreneurial, and she wanted to sell jewelry, beautiful, exquisite pieces that she believed would sell fast in the city. She carefully selected high-quality, expensive jewelry, thinking this would be her big break. In her excitement, Florence made the mistake of confiding in her aunt, Mama Beauty. With her usual fake smile, Mama Beauty listened intently as Florence spoke about her plans and the jewelry she had bought. Mama Beauty, who always found a way to manipulate situations, offered a few words of encouragement, though her heart was filled with jealousy. Later, when Florence wasn't looking, Mama Beauty took the jewelry and handled the pieces with her cold, envious hands. The moment her fingers touched the glittering items, something inexplicable happened. The jewelry, which was once radiant and full of promise, lost its luster. The vibrant stones dulled, the metals tarnished, and the once beautiful necklaces and bracelets began to look cheap and worn. Florence, completely unaware of the damage done, eagerly showed her jewelry to potential buyers. But no matter how hard she tried, no one was interested. They saw nothing special about the jewelry. It seemed as if the magic had vanished. She tried everything, new displays, better advertising, even lowering the prices, but no one would bite. The pieces that once sparkled with promise now appeared ordinary and unattractive. Little did Florence know, Mama Beauty's jealous and malicious touch had cost her business before it even began. No one believed her when she told them how great the jewelry was, and the business she hoped would set her free ended in despair. Every time Mama Beauty saw the car drop Florence off or pick her up in the morning, something within her would snap. Her jealousy would trigger a dark, bitter energy that she couldn't control. In those moments, Mama Beauty would go into what could only be described as a witch mode. Her eyes would darken, and she'd mutter under her breath as her hands would begin to twitch with malevolent energy. With every passing day, Florence noticed that the men at her office, who had always treated her with respect, began to act distant. Their smiles faded when she approached them, and the polite gestures that had once been a part of their daily interaction turned into cold indifference. Soon, Florence realized that the men, once friendly and kind, now avoided her completely. They no longer greeted her, and if she asked for help or tried to engage in conversation, they would brush her off or act as if she were invisible. It was as if they had turned against her for no reason at all. It didn't take long for Florence to piece it together. Each time Mama Beauty saw the card that represented Florence's success and newfound life, her jealousy walked through her witchcraft, poisoning the minds of those around her. The men at the office, under the unseen influence of Mama Beauty, now held a deep-rooted dislike for Florence, one that they couldn't explain, just as if they were suddenly repelled by her presence. Florence, struggling to make sense of it all, grew despondent. The progress she had worked so hard for seemed to be slipping away, not from her own doing, but from the dark power her aunt wielded. She had no idea what was happening to her relationships at work, nor could she understand why the men who had once shown interest and respect for her now actively avoided her. One night, she has another troubling dream, a vision where Mama Beauty is sweeping the floor of her house, but instead of cleaning, she is sweeping dirt toward Florence's legs. In the dream, Mama Beauty deliberately sweeps the dirt onto Florence's feet, symbolizing the curse she's placed on her. The more Florence tries to escape, the heavier the dirt gets. Wandering the streets, Florence becomes homeless. But then, out of nowhere, a kind stranger, her boss, hears her story and offers her a place to sleep in the office. A fresh start. Florence is moved by the gesture, and she begins to find her footing again. But a sense of dread still lingers in her heart. What has happened to her? Why is Mama Beauty so consumed with hatred for her? Will Florence ever break free from her aunt's curse? Wandering the streets, Florence becomes homeless. But then, out of nowhere, a kind stranger, her boss, hears her story and offers her a place to sleep in the office. A fresh start. Florence is moved by the gesture, and she begins to find her footing again. But a sense of dread still lingers in her heart. What has happened to her? Why is Mama Beauty so consumed with hatred for her? Will Florence ever break free from her aunt's curse? What will happen next? Can Florence break free from the curse placed on her by her jealous aunt, Mama Beauty? Will she find out the truth behind her aunt's actions and reclaim her life? What will be her next move in the fight for freedom and redemption? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to follow this captivating journey of betrayal, power, and hope. You won't want to miss the next chapter.